Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. So today's video is going to be extremely intimate, too much information, TMI, and if you are not comfortable with such topics, I think you should sit and watch, because why are you uncomfortable with such topics? This is nature, it's natural. You need to get used to it. So today I'm going to tell you everything I did to survive my first trimester. There's no getting rid of the nausea and all of that, so it is always and always about just surviving. So I'm going to talk about everything that happens during your first trimester and everything you can do to help you get through it a little easier. Firstly, you will have hundreds and hundreds of relatives and friends giving you different advices based on their personal experience, and all of that comes from a place of love, but everyone's experience is different and you really need to try. There's a lot of trial and error before you really understand what works for you. Things that I'm sharing today might not work for everyone. This is what worked for me, so I'm just going to give you tips. You can try it. If it doesn't work, it's okay. You'll just figure out eventually all the things that will work for you. Now, the first thing is, my first week of pregnancy, I had absolutely no nausea, except for the fact that I would just sit and while talking to someone, I'll doze off. So that was okay, and I was a little overconfident and I thought, okay, I'm going to be one of those pregnant ladies that do not have nausea and I'm going to enjoy my pregnancy. I was really wrong, because from the second week onwards, my nausea kicked in, and it kicked in so bad that I honestly thought I wouldn't survive it. So the first thing is, we all know that brushing your teeth in the morning is like an extreme sport, because you wake up nauseous, and brushing your teeth just really aggravates it to a next level. So during that time, your best friend is Listerine. I in fact would really struggle while brushing my teeth, and one day Deepak was like, I don't know why you're struggling so much, just use Listerine, it's going to be fine, you don't have to struggle so much. So if you are someone who struggles with brushing your teeth with a toothpaste, just use a little bit of Listerine in your mouth and then use a brush and just brush your teeth and then spit it out, and you are fine. You are absolutely fine. Nobody's going to judge you for it, because trust me, putting the paste and brushing is one of the worst things I could do when I was extremely nauseous. And also, every time you throw up, make sure to wash your mouth with Listerine, because it just makes you feel a little fresher, and you are not sitting feeling sick constantly. So this is one thing that really helped me throughout my first trimester. Of course, it's changed now. I've begun my 5th month and I'm doing much better. Another thing that I keep in my purse, like I'm literally taking it out from my purse, is this Axe oil or Vicks. Vicks just is a little too tedious when you have to keep sniffing it. Axe oil is very powerful, so you just maybe put a few drops in your mask and wear it. And if you are out somewhere, or even at home for that matter, and there's something that triggers you, this really helps. For me, I had a big problem with the bathroom fresheners, so even going to the toilet just to wash my face or even to take a shower, it was a very, very difficult task for me, and I would keep sniffing this, or I would pour this in my bath water and then take bath, and that was the only way I was able to take bath. Otherwise, even the smell of soap was really bad. Your first trimester, I think you just develop a love-hate relationship with food, and that is very much understandable, because foods that you really liked suddenly trigger a part of you that just feels so disgusted even smelling that. For me, my soul food, my comfort food was always dal and chawal, but I could not take the smell of anyone for that matter, even using tadka. So if I'm in my brother's house and they have to put tadka, I lock myself in the room, I open all the windows, and then they put tadka, because That is how much I hated it. Even now, though I've gotten better and my nausea has come down, tadka I still can't take. So with food, honestly, it is a very personal experience. The first trimester, the first 3 months, I think I survived mostly on tomatoes, raw tomatoes. I would eat cold raw tomatoes because that was the only thing that stayed in my stomach and did not make me feel disgusted or wanted, would make me feel like I want to throw up or would make me gag. Everything else was a very difficult experience for me when it came to even something as simple as apple would trigger my nausea. So with food, it is really trial and error. You have to try out different stuff before you figure out. And honestly, Deepak was just satisfied that at least tomatoes were staying in my stomach, and I would not have plain tomatoes. I would like to have it just with salt and chili powder. That was the only way I was able to eat tomato. Other than that, I wouldn't be able to eat anything. Even water, I could only drink ice cold water for some reason. Normal water disgusted me. Hot water I couldn't drink. So my doctor said it's okay to have extremely cold water, especially after you throw up. And if you are someone like me, you throw up like a lot with a lot of pressure and your insides are hurting, just taking few sips of extremely cold water really helps soothe that area and just makes you feel good. So try that. But again, with food, I'm saying it is a very personal experience. For some people, maybe you can't tolerate tomato. For me, I was able to only tolerate tomato. I would try my best to eat as much as I can, but that would hardly stay in my stomach for 5 minutes. And later on, it got to a point when I had to start taking injections because tablets were not working. I had to start taking injections and IV almost every day, but that also did not help. I stopped it when I realized that I would take the injection, I would take the IV, but I would come back home and throw up again. So mine was just an extreme case. That is what the doctor said, because at the end she said, I don't want to keep pumping you with injections and medication, just deal with it. And that's exactly what I did. I just dealt with it. I would throw up, I would get sick, my BP was always low. Sometimes I would throw up to the point that I'll faint. So Deepak has to constantly keep holding me. But again, that was me. It's not as extreme as it was for me, for everyone else. Another thing that I would like to say is that do not try, and I know a lot of girls who develop a phobia against vomiting. I did too, because it scares you. You don't want to throw up, you don't want to feel that sick. It really makes you feel miserable, you feel tired, you have no energy, and you just don't like that feeling. And I completely understand, because I also developed a phobia against it. But if you are feeling like throwing up, don't try to hold it in, because that feels even worse. If you have to throw up, just throw up. But one thing that really helped me, especially towards the end of my third trimester, when I was really not doing very well, was Ensure. I wouldn't drink it with milk, of course. I would drink it with water because it felt lighter and it was easier to consume. Of course, I would throw up that also, but even for that 5-10 minutes that I had it in my stomach, it gave me a lot of energy and made me feel good. On some days when I would throw up so much, I'll prefer sleeping on an empty stomach. But even when you sleep on an empty stomach, you cannot sleep, you just don't get sleep. So on those days, in the middle of the night, maybe 3:30, I will have very little Ensure, just enough to fill my stomach and for me to be able to sleep. And I did ask my doctor, and she said it is really good to have Ensure. As long as I can survive on it, it's fine. So that is what I did. Try and have Ensure, especially the vanilla flavor. It is a very mild flavor. I think it's in the kitchen. I'll show it to you guys. It's a very mild flavor. I still have it because it's really good. It has all the minerals, all the vitamins, everything that you need. So I still have it. But Ensure is something that you should definitely have, especially if you are an extreme case like I am. Sour things help. A lot of times, for me, in my case, everyone thought I was craving it. I wasn't craving it. For me, sour things were a necessity, because when I'm outside and I don't want to throw up and I want to hold it in maybe for some time until I come back home, or I'm in a comfortable environment, I would eat something sour, because that would just for some time suppress my nausea, suppress the vomiting sensation. So I would constantly keep things like amchur, the imli candy, and what else? I would keep Vicks also in my purse at all times, so that I don't know, but I was very, very uncomfortable throwing up somewhere outside. If it's not my house, my brother's house, or my in-laws' house, I was very, very uncomfortable doing it. So at least for that moment, to suppress that sensation, I would eat something sour, and it actually helps. As cliche as it sounds, mango, raw mango, amchur, imli candy, these things really help suppress your nausea for some time. It doesn't do a good job at completely getting rid of the feeling, but it definitely does help in suppressing it until you reach like a more comfortable environment. Now, these were all the physical issues that you go through in your first trimester, including losing weight. It is absolutely normal. I did ask my doctor, and she said a lot of women who are pregnant don't even gain a lot of weight, and that is absolutely fine. They still have healthy kids. So if you are losing weight in your first trimester, do not worry about it. It's absolutely fine. Cramping during your first trimester is normal. Spotting, where you have a little bit of bleeding here and there, is absolutely normal. Now, of course, as much as these things are normal, you definitely have to get it checked with your doctor once at least, but don't panic to the point where you really stress yourself, and especially if you have an underlying issue like I do. Definitely, like, no matter what time of the day it is, definitely talk to your doctor, and if they think it is necessary, they'll put you on medication. I was put on medication because in my second month I was spotting a lot. It scared me, so I was put on medication to stop the bleeding. But otherwise, these things are normal, and for you to have a lot of discharge, normal white discharge, is also very normal, so do not worry about that. You can always wear a pad, but I never wore a pad because the whole point of enjoying your pregnancy is not being on your periods, and I did not want to have a pad in my underwear, so I usually just change your underwear multiple times and you're good. Now, these were the physical problems and issues that you go through, but mentally also you definitely go through a lot during the first trimester, because you do not have energy, you don't feel like yourself, you're constantly feeling sick, you're nauseous and all of that. And just know that it is completely normal. What you're going through is a natural process. It might feel like this is just not getting over, it's not getting better. Is it going to last my entire pregnancy? It will not. It definitely will get better. You will learn to deal with it. For me, there were nights when I would throw up almost like the whole night, like every 10 minutes, every 20 minutes, and I would start crying, because for me it brought a lot of guilt. I would constantly cry to Deepak, saying like, what kind of a mother can't provide basic nutrition for the child? Because I was constantly hungry, I wanted to eat, but I could not eat anything. So in my head, I always felt that, oh, my child must be hungry, the baby must be hungry, but I'm not able to provide it with basic food. But I just want you to know that it is not your fault. You're not doing anything wrong. It is absolutely fine. Your body is made in such a beautiful way that even though you are struggling your first trimester, your body still has enough nutrition to provide for your child. So do not be depressed, do not feel guilty, do not feel like you're doing something wrong or you're failing as a mother. It is absolutely normal, it is absolutely fine to feel like that, but just know that you are doing the best you can, and that is more than enough. Even though you are struggling, you are feeling sick, your baby is fine, your baby is protected. So do not worry about that. Do not slip into depression. Do not feel like you're not doing enough, because you're doing amazing, you're doing great. It's going to get better, and once it gets better, you will enjoy this process so much, because there's no other feeling in this world as beautiful as carrying a child inside you. As much as it is the husband and wife, but you get the privilege of feeling all these feelings and going through all of these things, and you are doing an excellent job. You are definitely not failing anywhere. Of course, I had days, we are human, you have days where you feel low, and it's okay to feel low, but don't beat yourself up for it. It is absolutely fine. So that's it, guys. I hope I've covered almost everything that I wanted to cover. I have just entered my 5th month. My nausea has definitely gotten better. I still do have triggers. Fish is still a trigger for me, though I was a seafood lover. It is still a trigger for me, and it's absolutely fine. It is normal. It just gets better. And yeah, if you are pregnant, then congratulations. I will have you in my prayers. I will pray for your safe and healthy pregnancy. I wish you all the happiness in the world. Enjoy this process. As much as it is difficult, it is also beautiful, and by the end of it all, it's going to be so worth it. The minute you see your child, I think you're going to forget everything that you went through during pregnancy, and it is just so beautiful. Another question that I wanted to answer that someone had asked is it okay to be pregnant while you have cyst? I don't know. I think it differs from case to case. For me, my cyst is here and my baby is here, and they're coexisting without any problems. My baby is healthy, there are no issues, so I'm not having any problems. Of course, I do have pain. I still do have endo pain. I still experience it, and my doctors told me that as the pregnancy progresses, I should completely be pain-free, but I have not had a problem, and my cyst is pretty big. I have a 16 centimeter cyst, which is almost as big as a baby. So I have not had a problem. But if you do have a cyst and you are pregnant, always go to someone who's experienced. I did my research and I found someone who has a lot of experience with pregnancy and endometriosis. I'm not the first endometriosis pregnancy case that she's handling. She's handled many like that. So yeah, I never had a problem. Always talk to your doctor, no matter what doubts you have. Even if you think it's the smallest, silliest question you can ask, please ask, because I don't think there's any question that they haven't heard before. So please ask. For example, in the beginning, when my cramping was too much, I would constantly get really anxious, because pain is not new to me, but being pregnant and having pain constantly made me feel that, is my baby also experiencing the pain that I'm experiencing? And I obviously went and asked my doctor. I also told her that I think it's a silly question, but I want to know that if whenever I'm cramping, does my baby feel it too? And she said absolutely not. And when you hear the answer and when you get that confidence, all your anxiety just disappears. So now even when I'm cramping, it does not make me anxious. I do not get scared. So do not hesitate to ask your doctors whatever question you have to ask. Even if you see the slightest change in your body, it is absolutely fine to ask your question before you go to the doctor. Write down all your questions. I mean, have it in your phone and make sure you ask all your questions. Nothing is silly, nothing is small. It is a big deal. It is, it's your child's life and it is your health. And nothing should be considered small or silly. So do it and I wish you all safe pregnancy. And if you're not pregnant, then you can still be a part of my journey, so that even if I can help one person out there, it would be great. Of course, I have a lot more videos. I'm sorry I get a little breathless while talking, but I have a lot more videos about how I found out I was pregnant, how I was able to do it naturally, and everything. So I will be posting more regularly now because I'm not sick. I've got my energy back. I'm able to walk around. I'm able to do stuff. I'm not constantly on bed. So that's a great thing. And yeah, that's it. I will meet you guys in my next video. Until then, bye.